On a quiet morning in Bangkok, a gray Toyota Camry slams into the iron front gates of a luxury villa. The homeowner rushes outside to inspect the damage. In the confusion, he leaves his laptop open and fully unlocked on his desk. The driver of the Camry is an undercover agent for the Royal Thai Police. This collision is the final stage of a multi-year manhunt coordinated by 7 different countries to dismantle the largest illicit marketplace on the internet. To bypass the platform's encryption, investigators realized they had to bypass the computer entirely. They needed a physical reaction from the man typing the passwords. When the creator of the Silk Road was arrested and handed a life sentence, the online drug trade didn't vanish. Instead, the marketplace leader's removal created a massive power vacuum in the underworld. Within months, a developer known only by the pseudonym Alpha02 launched a new platform to claim the top spot. He called it AlphaBay. By 2017, AlphaBay listed over 300,000 items, generating $500,000 in sales every day. The inventory expanded from stolen credit cards to narcotics, weapons, and custom malware. To process these payments, the site offered a built-in tumbler. When a buyer spent cryptocurrency, the transaction was split apart and scrambled with hundreds of other payments before reaching the seller. This severed the public ledger trail, providing users with absolute financial privacy. Alpha02 built a system that shielded his business from almost every form of digital surveillance. But while the technology protected his data, it offered no such protection for his physical presence. For years, the investigation into AlphaBay stalled. Then, a DEA investigator received an anonymous tip pointing to a specific detail in the platform's earliest launch files. When AlphaBay first launched, every new user received an automated welcome email. In the raw metadata code of those early messages, a personal account was visible, pimpalex91@hotmail.com. Investigators traced that handle back through French-language tech forums to 2008. A teenager had used that address to ask for help removing a computer virus, signing the post with his real name, Alexandre Cazes, a software designer from Quebec. Authorities tracked his linked social media profiles and financial accounts. The data showed that Cazes was no longer in Canada. He was living in Thailand, purchasing luxury villas and a fleet of cars. Even with layers of modern encryption and decentralized servers, a single forgotten line of metadata in a welcome email provided the coordinates the DEA needed. The FBI now had their target, but arresting Cazes created a structural problem. If they simply shut down AlphaBay, its users would immediately migrate to the next largest platform, the Hansa Market. Meanwhile, Dutch authorities were running a parallel investigation. Acting on a tip, they had located the physical servers hosting the Hansa Market in the Netherlands and quietly cloned the data. Instead of pulling the plug on the rival site, the task force arrested the operators of the Hansa Market and secretly transferred control of the platform to themselves. This effort linked agencies from 7 different countries. The FBI agreed to delay their strike on AlphaBay until the Dutch police were fully positioned to manage the incoming user traffic on Hansa. As Cazes drove through Bangkok and posted on forums, a multinational digital snare was being calibrated around him. He was being monitored by the very network he used to hide. On July 5, 2017, the trap was ready. Dutch police secured data centers in Lithuania to maintain their grip on Hansa, while agents in Bangkok moved on Cazes. An undercover officer drove her Toyota down the dead-end street, claiming she took a wrong turn before backing into Cazes' front gate. The noise drew him out into the driveway. As Cazes walked out to assess the damage, a team of agents rushed from hiding. While several officers tackled Cazes, the rest of the team ignored him, sprinting into the house and directly toward the master bedroom. On his desk, they found his computer awake and fully unencrypted. Cazes was actively logged in to the administrative dashboard of the AlphaBay servers. The operation combined years of forensic tracing and international diplomacy. But gaining full administrative access to AlphaBay servers required nothing more than a low-tech fender bender. AlphaBay suddenly went offline. The administrators went silent. And across dark web forums, users assumed the operators had disappeared with their cryptocurrency. Desperate to trade, the displaced buyers and sellers flooded into the Hansa Market, exactly as predicted. For 4 weeks, law enforcement operated the site. They watched transactions in real time, harvesting every password, shipping address, and message from the influx of new users. Having collected enough evidence to convict thousands, the operation concluded. On July 20th, the U.S. Department of Justice announced both platforms had been seized. Authorities confiscated $23 million in assets from Cazes and posted the official seizure notices on the homepages of the dark web's two largest hubs. Users had built an ecosystem designed to route around failure by abandoning compromised servers. The task force turned that survival mechanism into a dragnet, using the criminals' own migration instincts to capture them. Alexandre Cazes did not stand trial. 1 week after his arrest, he was found dead in his cell, and his entire fortune was forfeited to the authorities. The victory, however, was temporary. Within months, a Russian darknet market known as Hydra absorbed the displaced users, eventually growing to more than twice the size of AlphaBay. Even after Hydra was dismantled in 2021, AlphaBay was resurrected by a former administrator. This infrastructure operates like a persistent network. When a central node collapses, the remaining connections instantly regrow to form a new structure. Coordinated stings and human error will continue to remove individual kingpins, but as long as the demand for illicit goods persists, the architecture of the dark web will simply adapt and rebuild.